Hello children, today we will learn about digestion and absorption, chapter number 16 of unit 5. We will learn about this unit 5, human physiology, and the first chapter is digestion and absorption. So this is the basic diagram which we have learned in junior previous classes also, and if we see this diagram also, so this diagram is very common and we learned in class 8th and 7th and 10th also. So these are some common features, common parts of the human digestive system: oral cavity, mouth, parotid gland, pharynx, submaxillary and sublingual glands. These are glands, the parts of the salivary gland, and the main food pipe which you have learned. Now here we will not use the term food pipe. Esophagus, O is silent here, and then stomach, and stomach is attached with the very liver, a big organ of the body, and this organ is very important. It includes 500 functions in the medical term. It is very important vital part of our body, liver, and it is connected with the gallbladder, and just below the stomach, the J-shaped stomach, and just below the stomach there is a pancreas, leaf-like shaped pancreas is there. Then there is a duodenum. This is the uppermost part of the small intestine. The small intestine is 6 meter in length. It takes 6 hours to absorb the food, digested food, which is ultimately digested in the duodenum. And this duodenum is connected with the jejunum, then ileum, and cecum. So these are the parts of the small intestine. Small intestine is connected with the large intestine. This is the ascending colon. You can see ascending colon, and then transverse colon and descending colon. These three parts are of the large intestine. A large intestine, then descending colon is attached with the rectum, and the last part of the large intestine is called anus. Through anus, the waste or undigested food is passed out from the body. There is a vermiform appendix, a vestigial organ of a human body. It is also attached with the large intestine near the cecum, you can see in the small intestine. Okay, so this is the basic. We will learn about the parts of the digestive system. The human digestive system, if we see, the human digestive system consists of alimentary canal and associated glands. Some glands are very important, which we will be learning further. Actually, the term digestion is the conversion of complex food, what we eat, that is converted into simpler forms. And simpler forms means that the nutrients what we to be get from the food is to be absorbed by the body to give maximum benefit. So alimentary canal, if we discuss about the alimentary canal, this alimentary canal begins with the anterior opening, the mouth from is at anterior opening, and it opens out posteriorly through the anus. Anus is the part of the alimentary, last posterior part of the alimentary canal, and the mouth leads to buccal cavity or oral cavity. Mouth cavity, mouth leads to, actually, what we see in our mouth. This is called a buccal cavity or oral cavity. And oral cavity consists of number of teeth and a muscular tongue. Each tooth is embedded in a socket of jawbone. This type of attachment is called thecodont. The teeth are arranged, in a this is a socket of jawbone. So this type of arrangement is called thecodont. Okay. Now we can see in this diagram there are 4 types of teeth, what we have learned in the junior classes also. The cutting teeth and tearing teeth and grinding and masticating teeth are there. So these are of 4 types actually. The cutting teeth, what we have learned is are called incisors. So two, you can see here, 2 are there. Just a minute, I'll tell you. If you see, 2 teeth are there, canines, incisors, and one is canine, you see, and 3, yeah, then 2 premolars and 3 molars. So these are on one side if we discuss here. So this is actually upper jaw. Okay. So here you can see upper jaw or a lower jaw. So 8 plus 8 in upper jaw and 8 plus 8 in a lower jaw. So here we can see, if you see here, just a minute. Okay. So if we use this, this, so 8 here and 8 this part of the upper jaw. So you can see here the socket of jawbone where the teeth are arranged are these are the sockets in which the teeth are fixed. Teeth are fixed in a jaw. So there are 4 types of teeth and arranged in a 2, 1, 2, 3. So this is the dental formula we'll learn later on. So here now we move to the next topic. Majority of mammals, including human beings, forms 2 sets of teeth during their lifetime. Okay, a set of temporary milk or deciduous teeth. These are replaced by a set of permanent or adult teeth. So at the age of to the age of 10, most of the temporary teeth or milk teeth or deciduous teeth were fallen out for, and then the new permanent teeth grows. This type of dentition, in which the teeth are appearing in twice in a body. So dico, phyco, don't is the term is used for this type of dentition. An adult human has 32 permanent teeth, which are of 4 types. Because they are of different 4 types, that the term is used is heterodont dentition. Incisor I, canine C, premolars PM, and molars are called M. We do not denote from by M. So arrangement of teeth in each half of the upper and lower jaw in the order ICPM is represented by dental formula, which in which the human is human dental formula. You can see here. So 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 one on one side and 2 1 2 3 on another side. So if we see this is the oral cavity, and these are the this is the upper jaw and lower jaw. If we discuss about the lower jaw, this is lower jaw and this is upper jaw. So here we can see the 8 plus 8 and 8 and 8. So these 8 2 1 2 3 is this is given on one side of the upper jaw or the lower jaw, or anywhere you can say. So so 2 incisors, then 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars are there. So that concludes, that adds up, it gives 8 number. So 8 plus 8, 32. 16 and 16. So total number of teeth present in a human beings are 32. So here you can see the hard chewing of the teeth made up of enamel, which is helps in the mastication of food. Bacho, this is very important. The hard chewing of the teeth, the hardest part of the our teeth are called enamel. So now we can see another part of very important part in the buccal cavity, which is called the tongue. Tongue has many functions. One is of tasting of bird. It helps in speaking. Okay, and also it is used for mixing the saliva into the food during the digestion process. The tongue is freely movable muscular organ attached to the base of the oral cavity by the frenulum. Frenulum is the word you can see here. Okay, frenulum. Just a minute. This is the term frenulum. The upper surface of the tongue has small projections, papillae, some of which bear taste buds. So taste buds are there. You can see. Just a minute. Okay. So the upper surface of the tongue has a small projection called papillae, some of which bears taste bud, and these taste buds helps in the identification of the taste of the food. This is salt, sour, sweet, and bitter. So the oral cavity leads to a short pharynx, which serves as the common passage for food and air. So our buccal cavity have two opening inside this thing. One is for trachea, windpipe, and the one is for another for food pipe, that is called esophagus. So esophagus has and the trachea, windpipe, opens into the pharynx. This is the part where the two openings are there. And a cartilage flap is very important, that is called epiglottis. So this epiglottis actually prevents the entry of food into the glottis, the opening of the trachea, windpipe. If that is why we used to say that don't talk. We should not talk during the swallow when we swallow the food while eating. So we should not talk much during this swallowing. The esophagus is a thin, long, extended posteriorly passing through the neck, thorax, and diaphragm, and leads to a J-shaped bag-like structure called stomach. So another important part, very important, the main part of the alimentary canal or digestive system is called stomach. So esophagus is a thin, long tube which extends posteriorly, passing through the neck. So here we can see the inside this in between the backbone and this trachea, esophagus is there. And esophagus, when the food passes through esophagus from mouth to the stomach, there is a peristaltic movement, the contraction and relaxation of the muscles of the esophagus is called peristaltic movement or peristalsis. A gastroesophageal muscular sphincter regulates the opening of esophagus in the stomach, into the stomach. This is very important. The food what we are eating, that slowly it enters into the stomach by the very important part, muscular sphincter is called gastroesophageal sphincter. So here if you see what is written in this, just a minute. So here you can see the stomach, located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity, has three major parts. A cardiac portion into which the esophagus opens. This is the cardiac portion, this is the cardiac portion. So here you can see the cardiac portion. Okay, three major part. One is cardiac portion, and then it is a actually fundus region and the pyloric portion. This is fundus and this is the pyloric portion. So portion which opens into the first part of the small intestine. This is the first part of the small intestine, duodenum. Duodenum is the uppermost part. The first part of the duodenum. So food coming into the stomach through esophagus, and the gastroesophageal sphincter is helping the food enters into the stomach, and then this food passes from fundus, cardiac, and pyloric passes to the duodenum. Okay. So now here next in the next picture we can see much better. You see here the small intestine is distinguishable into three regions: a U-shaped duodenum, a long coiled middle portion jejunum, and a highly coiled ileum. The opening of the stomach into the duodenum is guarded by the pyloric sphincter. So pyloric and sphincter are situated in between the stomach and the duodenum, and it allows the slow passage of the food from stomach to the duodenum. Ileum opens into the large intestine. That is the last part of the small intestine which opens into the large intestine. It consists of cecum, colon, and rectum. So large intestine have cecum, colon, and rectum. Cecum is the small blind sac which hosts some of the symbiotic microorganisms which are very important for the body. Then the narrow finger-like tubular projection, that is called vermiform appendix, which is a vestigial organ we discussed in the diagram also, arises from the cecum. It has no function in our body, but it has many functions and very important part of the animals who are herbivores. The cecum opens into the colon. The colon is divided into three parts. You can see, you will see in the diagram: ascending colon, then transverse colon, and ascending colon. You have seen here. This is the actually here you can see. Just a minute. You can see here. Suppose this is a small intestine, and small intestine opened into the large intestine. So large intestine, this is the diagram actually we can see. Okay. So this is ascending colon, and this is the transverse colon. This is the transverse colon, and this is ascending colon, and descending colon is called this is called descending colon. This is come down, and then the descending part opens into the rectum, and here you can see rectum, and this is the anus part of this is anus. So okay. So this is the part we were discussing about. Now in the next slide we will see the chemical process of digestion is initiated in the oral cavity. So the digestion starts itself in mouth itself, in oral cavity, where the hydrolytic action of the carbohydrate splitting enzyme salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is very important enzyme which is actually present in the salivary glands. So it secretes salivary glands secretes salivary amylase. So starch converts into maltose. Maltose is a type of sugar, which is when the starch is converted into maltose. The first process of digestion starts in the mouth itself, when the starch is converted into maltose, and salivary amylase helps in this process of conversion. And about 30% of starch is hydrolyzed here in this enzyme. Optimum pH is required. pH, percentage of hydrogen, pH is 6.8. So it is slightly, acidic, okay, into the disaccharide maltose. So lysozyme also present in the salivary amylase or in the saliva, you can say, in the saliva. The saliva is the juice secreted by the salivary gland. It contains lysozyme, which acts on the as a antibacterial agent. If there are some bacteria or something is present in the food, that is to be killed by the antibacterial agent lysozyme. It prevents infections also. The mucosa of stomach. Stomach has three inner layer. Gastric glands, three major types of cells, namely mucous neck cells, which secretes mucus, peptic or chief cells, which secrete pepsinogen, proenzyme called pepsinogen, and parietal or oxyntic cells, which secretes HCl and intrinsic factor. This intrinsic factor is very important, which helps in the absorption of vitamin B. Here you can see the transfer section of a gut. Alimentary gut has the different layers. It includes different layers. So you can move this thing. Here you can see serosa is the outermost layer. Then inner circular and outer longitudinal muscularisis is the second layer, and submucosa is the third layer. Mucosa is the innermost layer, and the lumen through which the food passes from mouth to the anus. This is the gut actually. So the transfer section of a gut is shown in this diagram. In the second diagram you can see the small section of small intestine, mucosa, showing villi. This mucosa portion, what you can see here, mucosa layer is this is the mucosa layer, and this mucosa layer, some finger-like projections which is given here, that are shown in this diagram. You can see here. So these are the villi, finger-like projections. Villi help in the it increase the surface area for the absorption of food, because what we have eaten, that is to be absorbed by the body, is very important. So these are the capillary network, and each artery is connected with the vein through these capillary network, and crypts are there, and vein. The artery, vein and crypts are there. This is the diagram is important. And in the next diagram, the cells of lining of the villi produce numerous microscopic projections called microvilli. So here you can see microvilli giving a border appearance. These modifications increase the surface area enormously. It increases the surface area for absorption. Villi are supplied with a network of capillaries and a large lymph vessel called lacteal. These are the lacteal. Mucosa epithelium has a goblet cells which secrete mucus that help in the lubrication. Mucosal epithelium as a goblet cell, it means the mucus is very important for the inner lining of the stomach. This actually includes, it helps in the prevent any sort of abrasion by the Cl produced by the stomach. So mucosal epithelium goblet cells help in the mucus that helps in lubrication. Mucosa forms gland in the stomach, gastric glands, and crypts in between the bases of villi in the intestine, that are called crypts of Libercum. All the four layers shows modifications in different parts of the alimentary canal. These are the different layers which are present in the inside layer of the alimentary canal. Okay. So here in the next diagram you can see the bile secreted by the hepatic cells. Hepatic cells are present in the liver, So we use the term hepatic for liver. Hepatic cells passes through the hepatic duct, and it is stored and concentrated in a thin muscular sac called the gallbladder. Gallbladder only stores the bile secreted by the hepatic cells of the liver. The duct of gallbladder, that is called cystic duct, along with the hepatic duct, forms a common bile duct. So here you can see the common bile duct in the diagram. Here you can see the common bile duct. So some the ducts from the liver and ducts from the gallbladder, both combine to form joint at a point called common bile duct. So here in this diagram you can see it's given very clearly, and this is the uppermost part of the small intestine called duodenum. It also it is the part in which all the digestion of the food is taken place. Okay, from digestion start from mouth itself, then in the stomach, and then the duodenum which receives the bile juice and the pancreatic juice. This is the pancreas. You can see this is the pancreas, and pancreas acts as a dual gland exocrine as well as endocrine. We'll discuss in the next slide. So here the you can see the pancreatic duct is there and hepatopancreatic duct. Of this what is hepatopancreatic duct we will see here. The bile duct and the pancreatic duct. The bile duct which is coming out from the gallbladder, the bile duct and the pancreatic duct open together into the duodenum, which is the uppermost part of the small intestine, which in which the most of the digestion takes place, as the common hepatopancreatic duct. Hepato means this word is used for the liver, and pancreatic duct. So this hepatopancreatic duct, which is by a sphincter called, this is guarded by a sphincter called sphincter of Oddi. This is very important, sphincter of Oddi. Here you can see. Just a minute. This is sphincter of Oddi. So pancreas is a compound both exocrine and endocrine. This is the organ situated between the limbs of the U-shaped duodenum. So pancreas acts as the dual gland. One is exocrine when it secretes pancreatic juice, and another it secretes insulin also. Insulin when it secrete endocrine gland when it secretes two type of hormones, insulin and glucagon, then it acts as endocrine gland. Okay, exocrine portion secretes an alkaline pancreatic juice. This is exocrine function and containing enzymes, and the endocrine portion secretes hormone, insulin and glucagon. So this is how the digestion of taking place. Okay, now we can test our knowledge also. So this part of the digestion actually we have finished. So test your knowledge. Putrefying bacteria is present in which part of the alimentary canal? So we can answer, this is the colon. Colon is there. Digestion of protein is completed in duodenum. We have discussed many times. Part of the stomach which opens in the duodenum, then you can see the answer, pyloric. And vitamin D is produced in which part of the body? That is skin. You can see here skin is there. And which enzyme carries out the initial step in the digestion of milk in human is called pepsin. So this is all about today's lecture. Thank you.